Hello there, welcome wherever you may be. This is the Random Show episode number what? 19, I think. 19 it should be. It should be episode number 19 of the Random Show. How you doing? How you feeling, my family, my friends? Hope you're good wherever this may find you. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to let everybody just stroll in now because obviously I've got everything patterned up. I'm looking good on the old camera and whatnot. Got the settings all done. The volume of the mic is fresh and where it should be, sounding nice and clear, hopefully. You can hear the gulp of my water bottle as I'm drinking it. Come and join in. This is going to be a little bit of a LOL affair. Loads of random clips that I've stumbled upon, of course, on the old interwebs. So if you want to laugh at some of these LA-based comedians and podcasters, then join me as we go over some of these little clips. Again, this is all meant in jest. Don't go and harass these people. Leave them alone. We're just having a laugh. We're just hanging out, shooting a shit, drinking water, chilling out. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. This is our Black Friday special. You know, I'm obviously, dressed to the occasion and, of the racial persuasion, this will make sense. This isn't some sort of cultural appropriation. I'm actually doing this as a form of charity. So I hope you guys are going to be welcomed. No, I hope you guys are going to be grateful for my charity. And in exchange, all I ask for you to do is to like this, subscribe if you're a new watcher or you like what I do and you want to come back again. Greatly appreciated for all the love and support, all the good comments, even the bad ones. I'll read all of them. I usually just heart everything anyway. Even if you tell me to jump off a bridge, I'll just heart it anyway because you know what? It's engagement. I'm going to engage you back. You engage me, I'll engage you. Tit for tat, you know what I mean? We don't play around over here. But yeah, here we are. Random Show episode number 19, man. Coming at you strong. Nah, man, I just started, brother. Jesse G. I just started. I just got into the hot seat. I've just started. It's been only 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes of the stream. Just started. So you haven't missed anything. I'm just waiting for them to come in. Come in, of course. Like and subscribe if you're new, or if you're old, just like, because you're already subscribed, and that'll be greatly appreciated. We're gonna go over loads of different little clips. We're gonna laugh at people. We're going to reflect on how we laughing at people is maybe a reflection on how miserable our own lives are, right? We're going to do all that good stuff. We're going to do all that good stuff. We're going to LOL at them. We're going to LOL at ourselves. And we're just going to keep on going. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Black Friday special. Let me know in the chat too. What did you get for Black Friday? Did you go and get something? Did you do what most people do in America where they start fighting over flat screen TVs and shit? Did you do all that stuff? Or did you for once become sensible and say, you know what, I have enough things. I don't need to have more things. I don't need to go and buy other things. Like I have enough. Oh, big up. We got a super chat. I know your soul dislikes talking about Brendan, but welcome back, Chang. Yeah, big up. No, I hate it, man. It's so annoying, but there's been so many funny clips over the last couple of weeks that I thought, you know what, let's just do one big bonanza. But big up the Crass Data Node. Really appreciate the super chat, my friend. Really appreciate it. I just have to do what the viewers like, and at the end of the day, I've been fighting it for so long, but everyone keeps asking me to do more, so fuck it, man. Let's just do more in it. Let's just give the people them what they want. Why not? So yeah, Jones said he got more weed. Instead of buying flat screen TVs, people are buying weed. I don't blame you, man. That's probably a better way to invest your money. Who needs a flat screen TV anyway? Really and truly. When's the last time you sat down and watched the television? Most of my time watching stuff, it comes from flipping flat screens like laptops and fucking phones and shit. Do you know what I mean? I've never used a flat screen TV, but again, maybe if you live at home or you have a big house or you just like TVs in general, I guess you'd have a TV if you have a computer console, right? If you game and you live stream, or even just game in general, you probably have a TV. But I don't have a console, so I don't have one. But it is what it is. But yeah, let's jump on in and let's get involved. And then we're gonna run through a few things. Like I said, we're gonna talk about Tim Dillon. Not Tim Dillon. We're gonna talk about Tim Paul, Joe Rogan, Brendan, Chris D'Elia, and then we're gonna end with some random shit. I think, but that'll be about it. Loads of things to go through, loads of clips. So let's get involved in it. First clip we're gonna talk about is this one that I stumbled on, and all this is coming from Reddit, as you can see on the URL. So if you want to find all these things, they're all from Reddit. So I recommend you join the Rogan subreddit or the Fire and the Kids subreddit. All the good shit is on there. But this is the first clip that comes from the Joe Rogan subreddit, and it's Tim Paul basically talking about his dating life, or his lack of dating life and family life, right? And how for whatever reason in his head he has rationalized that it's not his fault. It's the fault of everyone else in the world, but it's not his. And it's pretty sad, I gotta be honest. So let's see this. This is Tim Paul talking about his dating life.
I do think it's crazy that I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. Because my dad had 2 kids by the time he was 27.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, you know what the problem is, though? It's definitely not me. I think it's everybody else.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Let's just play that one more time. One more time, right? He's bemoaning the fact that he's at that age. I think most men have that thing, right? Where you reach a certain age, usually it's around above the age of maybe 26, 27, especially if you're single and your dating prospects are pretty shit. You start thinking to yourself, you know what? I'm pretty lonely, right? Because at that age, usually all your friends, all your bros you've been hanging around with, you don't really have them anymore, right? Your friends sort of splinter off. Maybe you have a close group of friends, but it's not like it was before. It's not like when you were like 22 and you were out with like 10 groups of guys and shit, like groups of different guys you'd meet out and stuff. It was insane. The older you get, the less family you tend to have, right? But then the older you get, there reaches a point where you start to look inward and start thinking, oh, I need people. I need to kind of construct a family. You try and build one, whether it's kind of getting a partner, having a kid, something. So for someone like him to come out and say this is pretty concerning, right? And then someone said, what's it? Beyonce Wilder said, incel energy. Look at this.
I do think it's crazy that I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. Because my dad had 2 kids by the time he was 27.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, you know what the problem is, though? It's definitely not me. I think it's everybody else.
Yeah.
And there's that saying, right, that says if you're always surrounded by assholes, maybe you're the asshole, right? That's the saying, right? It's something along those kind of lines, but it's always like, don't always point the finger at everybody else around you. Maybe the fact that you keep surrounding yourself with these weird people is an indication that you're the weird one. But yeah, man, it's super sad, I think, in general. Laughs aside, you know, Tim Paul's really successful. He's like done really well for himself. You know, his streaming platform that he does, or just in general from his channel, right? He's built that channel from the ground up, ranting and raving about all sorts of flipping woke politics stuff that he kind of gets bothered about all the time. He's a master of freaking clickbait headlines. He does great fun. Whoever does his thumbnails does them really well too. He seems to do them really well in terms of his videos. No, hardly any editing. He speaks for like 10, 11 minutes on a topic, and he bangs out bare videos. If you think I flood your timeline, if you think I'm a spammer, he's even worse. Do you know what I mean? He's on another level. So he's incredibly successful, and he lives a pretty, it looks like, low maintenance lifestyle. I think he does this show out of his RV van, right, that he's got configured. I think I remember hearing him speak about it on Joe Rogan. So he's got money. You know what I mean? He's a pretty rich dude, I'd imagine. You know, not many dependents. He does everything out of a van, small team, ranting and raving about internet topics online. You can just run through that content really quickly. So he should be on paper a pretty prize for people, right? Someone should look at him and think, you know what? You're somebody that could make a good, you know, a good partner, somebody to build a family with or whatnot. So the fact that he's in this position, he's thinking this way, is like, this goes to prove that maybe he's not even in a position where he's even outside to talk to people. Do you know what I mean? Does this guy even go to bars? Does he even hang out to places? Does he go and watch a game? Has he got many friends he hangs out with who aren't involved in this fucking cultural commentary world, whatever it may be? Do you know what I mean? Everyone he speaks to has some sort of channel or has a Patreon or has a Substack and shit. It's like, ugh, that's the issue, man. Which is why I think it's important when you watch these people to kind of watch them from afar, enjoy the content, but don't get too enamored with their lives, because behind closed doors, man, leading that kind of lifestyle, again, being as successful as he is, you're gonna have to give up a lot. You have to sacrifice a lot to be as successful as Tim Paul, to stream as much as he does, to talk about many things as he's do, always on podcasts, always recording shit. You can't really have a normal family, friendship, relationship life. It's kind of something you have to kind of give up and throw out the window. But this way, the way he's kind of framed it, as if it's everyone else's problem and not his, that is mad. As someone else said in the comments, that is strong incel energy. He's definitely giving off like school shooter vibes, in it. And the other thing that was hilarious about Tim Paul has always been the hat, the beanie, right? Because we all know he's bald, right? We all know he's bald as a judge. So why does he continue doing the whole beanie thing? It's one of those weird male insecurities that doesn't really make any sense. It's like, you know, when really big fat guys like to wear fedoras, right? That was a thing back in the day. They wear a funky fedora to kind of like, I guess, slim out your face or to make you look, you know, I don't know, kooky or whatnot. Or if you had your hair thin, you'd have a fedora or some sort of bowl hat or some shit. But everyone knows what you're playing with underneath it. There's no need, really. And I feel like nowadays too, maybe the bald thing isn't such a big deal. You can always embrace it. You could always do what most dudes do when they're bald and just grow out a really sick beard or just get really buff so that no one chats shit to you, right? You could always do that sort of vibe. But Tim has got some really strong reservations about the baldness that lies beneath his woolly hat, as per this video, right? Which is an epic video, because the funny thing about it is that the guy that pulls his hat off his head, the little mischievous guy here in the background, right? The little devil on his left-hand shoulder, he looks like he's bald himself. He looks like he's either bald or doesn't have a receipt or something. Anyway, he looks like he's having insecurity. But you can just tell by the slope of the hat. This is a guy who's comfortable with whatever he's got on top of his head. He's just wearing a beanie because it's cold, right? It is what it is. It's just a function. This is a guy who's trying to, in some way, hide whatever is on there and make it seem as if, I don't know, he's got some sort of man bun underneath it. But look what happens when somebody takes off Tim Paul's hat. This is probably why he's not dating or doesn't have a great family life, because he's wasting time recording protests on a smartphone with a beanie on. Do you know what I mean? This is probably why. It's not probably the best way to, as what would Brendan that say? It's not the best way to slang dick, is it? Recording protests, I'd imagine.
I had to steal your hat. All right, have a good day.
Bro, you come near me ever again, you won't have any teeth. You understand that?
I understand.
Don't fucking touch me. You wanna know why I fucking wear the hat? Yeah. So these motherfuckers can't fucking recognize me when I'm on the street. You wanna take a picture of me so that I'm easily identifiable? There's no photos of me without this. You can!
What? I didn't even see the end bit. So he's saying supposedly he wears that woolly hat so he can protect himself from strangers on the street. What? When did the woolly hat turn into a fucking balaclava? Can someone tell me that? You're telling me if I put on a woolly hat and I walk past my dad, he won't recognize who I am? Is that what you're trying to say? What the fuck is that? What kind of rationale is that, man? He's acting like, he's acting like Clark Kent in Superman, right? When he thinks he puts on his glasses and automatically no one recognizes him. You know what I mean? It's like, we know what you look like, mate. We see the jawline. We know you're fucking Superman. It's such a fucking idiotic thing to say. And it's also super cocky energy too, that you turn around. I don't know. Let's say about you guys. Let me ask a question, because maybe this sounds a bit too aggressive. But I would imagine from where I'm from, if you pulled up to a stranger and you took off his hat, someone that doesn't know you, you could get punched. You could get into a physical altercation. Something could happen physically. It might not be a punch. It might be a tussle. It might be a lot of chest bumping. But he's not going to just stand there and look at you, right? Isn't that like a reason to hit somebody? If somebody just took your hat off your head, like that you didn't know, wasn't your friend, or would you just walk away? I don't know. I think I would want to, do something. Do a little fucking Masvidal flying knee. Back off and then jump into their face or something. That would be pretty hilarious. But honestly, big up Tim Paul, man, for thinking a beanie is a fucking balaclava or a fucking, Balenciaga face mask or Kanye face mask or something. Like, he's an absolute weapon. And it's funny, like they look like the same person, right? One person has a sense of humor. One person on the right, this guy probably slangs all the dick, right? He seems like a really funny, cool, quirky, funny guy. And this one is inventing all these ops online for himself, right? He's including ops. He's like, oh, these people, the FBI, the CIA, they're after me, man. All these videos I do on the fucking liberal left, they're after me, man. It's like, no, they're not. No one's after you, Tim. No one's after you. Go to the pub, try and get laid. Do you know what I mean? Get some fucking friends that aren't fucking they don't have a YouTube channel, and just relax. Do you know what I mean? That's all you need to do, brother. Relax. But these people, they don't know how to relax, man. They're fucking weirdos. I swear to God, they're fucking whacked. But again, like I said, to be fair to him, to be fair to Tim Paul, in order to be that successful, you kind of have to be a bit of a, you kind of have to be a bit like him, a little bit of a lame, a little bit of a dork. You kind of have to be, if you want to be that successful, there's no way you can put in those many hours or those many videos and have some sort of balanced, normal personal life. It doesn't happen, innit? It doesn't bloody happen. Then we have, this is a good one, isn't it? This is a good one. This is a good one. Is this a good one, Devil Meet Heroes? Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one. Let's talk about this. You guys seen this, right? This is Blair White, right? Blair White there, looking cute. For some of my lads and some of the boys in the chat, would you be honest? Would you? I know we all know the situation, but let me know in the chat. Would you give me a F in the chat for you if you would? I want to see F's in the chat if you would, please. Let's see if you guys are gonna be honest. Blair White here on the left. Would you? Yes or no? F's in the chat. Yes. Okay, good. People are being honest. Yes. Okay, good. Being honest. I like this. Honesty. Please say honest. I want people to be honest about this. Would you? Blair White. Yes. The answer is yes. Good to hear. Honesty. I like the honesty in the chat right now. I'm liking the honesty. But yeah, Blair White out here looking cute. Alex Jones looking like Alex Jones. F. Good. S in the chat. If you would. F in the chat for Eric. Good. I like the honesty. Oh, it's amazing. I like the honesty. F in the chat. But yeah, and Alex Jones is looking like Alex Jones in it. He's fallen off. But then again, I don't blame Alex in it because he's had a tough run, man. He's had a tough run. F no. Okay, good. We got one detractor. C Nice is not having it with Blair White. He's not having it. Alex Jones, I don't blame him. He's looking a bit mad, but you know, he's going through some hard times. Yeah, that lawsuit, man, it's gonna kill him, I'm assuming. Or is it a lawsuit? It is, right? With the whole Sandy Hook thing. I think it's a lawsuit, right? I think he's definitely gonna bleed him dry. If it hasn't already, he's definitely got some wealthy benefactors in the background. But this is an interesting clip. About never meeting your heroes, right? And I don't know about you guys if you feel the same way, but I do agree that I try my best. If ever I meet somebody or if I see somebody that I like that I've kind of seen online or from a TV or a movie, I'm a very big proponent of acknowledging, like, hey man, loved you and whatever it was, and then keeping it moving. Trying to keep the interaction down to under 10 seconds. It doesn't need to be more than that. Sometimes if you see them from afar, like a head nod, like big up, you know what I mean? Give it a little spud, little thumbs up. But I don't like having the chats. I don't agree with the chats. Never try and chat to your heroes because it's either going to go one way really well and you're going to be like, oh, that's why I'm the fan of this person. Or it's going to go the other way and you're going to be scarred for life. So this is a good example of why you should never meet your heroes.
I've heard you got to do a dieta, which is a 10-day fast where you basically eat only
stop all that hippie bullshit. Listen, put your fucking woody beads aside.
But this is if you're
shut
your
your pie hole.
Only if you're
you don't
taking
have to do any of
ayahuasca.
those things.
Have you
Just
taken
dive
ayahuasca?
in. It's the same thing. It's dimethyltryptamine. Listen, what you really need to do is just relax and let it happen.
Have you taken aya?
No, I've only taken DMT.
We got to do ayahuasca.
I've taken. I don't know how to do shit with you.
Oh, you filthy hippie! Get a haircut.
We need to. All of a sudden, I'm in his house. Like,
That is so mean and so unnecessary. So mean and so unnecessary. So they're talking about DMT, I guess, right? In this clip. And the kid pipes up because obviously he's excited because he's in the presence of Joe Rogan. Because, you know, when you're in the presence of Joe, you want to talk about DMT, you want to talk about hunting, you want to talk about fighting, you want to talk about self-actualization, fitness, comedy. You might want to talk about something you're really interested in so you can geek out with you along with it. Comedy. You know, you want to talk about those things. So he honestly thought when he brought that up that he was going to have like a little bit of a bro-y moment with Joe, not knowing that Joe is like, you know, a little bit of a dick as well. In his own right, he can be a bit of a dick. And he clearly wasn't comfortable being there anyway. So this is a great time to kind of spaz out and get a little bit angry. But you know, there's one thing as well, right? Oh, see, someone says, Ruby, you know what was one thing that's interesting? Have you realized how tiny Joe looks like? No, have you realized how tiny Joe looks when he's outside of his own studio? I'm wondering, right? Because he always says in podcasts that he doesn't really like going on other shows because what's the point, right? He's Joe Rogan. There's no point in going on another show because it's not going to add anything to what he does because he's got the biggest show. I understand that. And also, you know, just come on my show. It's better. Cool. But part of me also thinks like as soon as he steps outside of his own studio with the proportions that it has and his fucking booster seat that he has all the way jacked up like that because of posture supposedly, but he always looks so small, innit? Really, really tiny. Like tight. Like, yeah, it's not his fault. It's just, you know, it is what it is. You're born with the genetics you're born with. But he's such a small man. But oddly enough, I never get the sense from him that he's got a small man complex. Like, he doesn't necessarily seem ratty or like, you know, really tense or always always trying to overcompensate. I don't really feel like he overcompensates for his shortness. Maybe you guys do feel like that, but I feel like obviously it's funny seeing him boosted up on his little seat, right? Because, you know, clearly he kind of feels a little bit weird that way. I get it. And you don't want to have your feet dangling from the chair as you're sitting and interviewing people. But it's just funny whenever he steps out of that studio, he always looks really, really tiny when he gets back in his own. But let's just replay this burn again one more time, because it really hurt my soul, and I think it's going to hurt him one more time. But this, again, is another reason why you shouldn't meet your heroes.
You got to do a dieta, which is a 10-day fast where you basically eat only
Stop all that hippie bullshit. Listen, put your fucking wooden beads aside.
But this is if you're
shut
gonna
your
take
pie hole.
only if
you
you're
don't
taking
have to do any of
ayahuasca.
those things.
Have you
Just
taken
dive
ayahuasca?
in. It's the same thing. It's dimethyltryptamine. But listen, what you really need to do is just relax and let it happen.
Have you taken aya?
No, I've only taken DMT.
We got to do ayahuasca.
I've taken. I don't know shit with you.
Oh, you filthy hippie! Get a haircut.
We need to. All of a sudden, I'm in his house. Like,
He's such a cunt, innit? He's such a cunt. And look at the kid. I'm gonna take off the sound because it's gonna copyright strike me. But look at his face throughout the entire thing as it plays. Look how sad he is. Look how sad the kid is. Like, that was mean, unnecessary, right? He didn't need to do that to him. Look his face. He's dying on the inside, isn't it? It's like, oh, it's just a sip of water. He's got a dry throat. Look at that. Look at that face. Oh man. Look at that face. Jesse G, I think that was Tim Paul's podcast. They did like a special one. I don't know what for exactly. But they did a special one. That was Tim Paul's podcast. You'll be able to find it, I'm sure, on the interwebs. Well, it's Tim Paul, Alex Jones was on there, Blair White, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, moving on from that one, let's go to the next clip. We're going to just speed through these, isn't it? We're going to speed through this. This is a clip of Joe talking on his show with Ari, Shane Gillis, and Mark Norman. I think it was a recent show they did, right? It was one of the better ones, actually. I recommend you check it out. If you haven't checked it out yet already, Joe Rogan with Mark Norman, Shane Gillis, and Ari Shaffir was really fun. It was fun because for the most part, all three of those guys were basically taking the piss out of Joe, like kind of ragging him a bit, ribbing him a bit. Obviously Ari as well, kind of, he seems to be one of the few comics within Joe's little orbit who doesn't suck up to him too much, and they kind of have a little bit of banter back and forth and fuck around, right? I like that. But yeah, 100% check it out. Definitely one of the fun shows, I feel, in that regard. Someone said, where's this? Some of the was that the show? Yeah. Jesse G, that's the one. Yeah, same show where Blair White was saying Joe was in her DMs, asking her to come on the show. Definitely the same one. But yeah, check it out. But this is a funny clip because they talk about Biege Frequency, right? And Porsalin, who make incredible videos about the whole LA comedy scene. And it's funny because Joe clearly is trying to feign ignorance and trying to pretend like he doesn't know what it is. But, you know, small community comedians, it's documentaries about prominent guys within their groups, people they may not like or whatnot. The documentaries are really well done by Porsalin and Biege Frequency. I'm sure they get passed around and people kind of, you know, hey man, have you seen this? I'm pretty sure they do. But I like that he's pretending that he doesn't know what they are because, you know, that's Joe, innit? He doesn't check social media. He's not online. So you got to keep up that charade. You have to keep it up. This is him talking about it now.
Some people just want to hear jazz all day. You know what I'm saying?
You ever see those Porsalin documentaries? Porsalin or Biege Frequency, the stand-up documentaries.
Yo,
they're
what's
great.
that? Hold on. What are you talking about? Whoa.
What
is that? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you just lost your November.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
There are these documentaries about stand-ups, about stand-up comedy. Yeah, Porsalin and Biege Frequency, and they're really, really good, well-researched.
Who made them?
These guys just make them for internet.
Oh, like Norton and Jim Jeffries.
Where are
I have seen
They're
those.
on YouTube.
They're so brutal, man.
They're brutal, but they're all
brutal.
dead on. They're not like taking stuff out of context. They're taking stuff in context.
One of them. Now this is funny. I was with my lady, and I DM'd him at it. When I saw they reviewed my special, I was with my girlfriend. And I was like, "You gotta leave the room.
So you
I'm gonna watch this, and if this is what I think it is, I'm gonna be upset."
You're a masochist.
Yeah,
They're
I watched
great.
it, and actually the guy was like, "This is pretty good."
Yeah,
So I was like, that means everything.
Wow, that's great. They're not hit pieces, but it often is. It rests in the negative sometimes, and it's fucking great.
Rest in
But
the negative.
the thing about what you would do
Gentle.
if you were on the outside is you would do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You would,
True.
especially
it's a
Who
buffer game.
likes to attack heroes more than you do?
I love it.
Yeah. Again, it's funny because obviously it felt like they were gonna cue it up to mention the Brendan Schaub documentary they did. I think, is it Porsalin or Biege? I don't know. Biege Frequency did a documentary one, isn't it, about Brendan. And they clearly tried to, like, you know, they all were trying to see, would Ari go there and mention Brendan? But, you know, he's a savage, but he wouldn't go that far because, you know, why would you ruin that relationship just to get a couple of laughs over some homeless cats, which is definitely beneficial because there's 50K of us out there, right? Do you know what I mean? All slanging out there in PF Changs, but I get it. You got to protect your job. You got to be careful. All this sort of shit. Really, really interesting. But this thing they always say at the end, like, if you were on the outside and you went, it's like, I wonder, I think deep down, right, you get the feeling with these LA comedian guys, or just stand-ups in America for sure, because I guess they're online a lot and they've got videos out and they kind of purport to have like a fun kind of adolescent sort of life. Do you know what I mean? Like, as if like they don't ever grow up, that kind of lifestyle. They somehow think that all guys also want that. I don't think all guys, some guys obviously do, would like to have the ability to, you know, get drunk every night like how Bert does and stuff, I'm sure, right? But most guys don't. They just enjoy just watching this, you know, these guys and having a bit of a laugh. And if they're on the other side, they enjoy maybe poking holes at some of the dumb things they say, because why not? These adults that you're the same age as you are, and you just want to fuck around and, you know, rib them for a bit. They're not all envious of your jobs or or what you're doing, but I feel as if like these guys generally feel like everybody in the world would love to be who they are. It's like, not really, right? Not really. Not everybody would enjoy that. It's obviously a particular set of, it's obviously a particular career set, because only a particular person can go into it. Not everybody makes it anyway, so it's not as if like, you know, it's open to everybody, or it's open to everybody, but it's not as if like everybody can be successful at it. A lot of people suck at being stand-up comedians, a lot of them. Some of them in that group, right, they're really good on podcasts, they're shit on stage. Some of them the other way around. But this idea they have of like, oh, if you're on the outside, you will do this too so you can get involved. No one's doing that to get involved. No one's doing this because they want to be your friends. They're just doing it because it's funny. I enjoy watching Joe Rogan podcast. I've watched it for a lot of years, since maybe just after the beginning, and it's just like, you just either watch it because you like it, or you watch it because you want to have a laugh. But that's where it ends. It doesn't go any further than that. It doesn't mean you want to be them. It doesn't mean you hate them. It just is what it is. I don't understand why they like that though. They always think that everyone wants to be them. Like, you want to be inside. It's like, inside of what? What are you talking about? Like, maybe other stand-up comedians, if you're an entertainer, maybe I'd get it if you're like an actor, right? If you're like a Hollywood actor or something, looking at all these guys shooting the shit and be able to talk about what they want, swear, you know, all this sort of stuff, get up to nonsense. I definitely understand that. If you're like someone in a really strict, stringent Hollywood sort of role in that way, cool. Seeing these guys is quite annoying. You're like, man, I wish I could do that. But regular guys are just working jobs and shit and just living their lives and, you know, whatever, paying the bills. This is just fun. It's good to kind of waste a few hours and just fuck around, innit? Like, it's not that big of a deal. I don't think so, but, you know, these guys think differently. Of course, they think differently. Then we have the pièce de résistance, the résistance de pièce, from the man himself, Brendan Schaub, on Below the Belt. Of course, whiskey in hand. When is he not drinking? Did I mention this before in another show, that asking about what's more pathetic? Did I mention that before? Like, what's more pathetic as an adult? Like, you know, starting to drink in your mid-30s or starting to smoke weed in your mid-30s. What's more lame? And I think everyone in the chat that last time said weed was more lame, right? To start in your mid-30s. I'm not saying it's bad to smoke weed. Everyone smokes it. Cool, have a good time. But I'm just saying, to go from never doing them things and being straight edge or being somewhat sober, and then to start getting into it super heavy to the point where you've got, you know, branded, you know, you sell fucking rolling trays and you sell rolling papers and you've got grinders you make and shit, and you got your own strain, and then to the point where you're only making your own whiskey. Like, what's worse? You know, smoking weed in your mid-30s or going for the whiskey? And I definitely think it's the weed. No, actually, I think it's the whiskey. I'm going to go for the whiskey, because when you get into the whiskey, you start to think that you're a wine connoisseur, because it's I guess it's the entry point in terms of being some sort of sommelier, because I guess with wine, maybe it's a bit more difficult, or maybe highfalutin, I don't know. But regardless, this is Shaw obviously talking about himself and why he's thankful what he's thankful for during Thanksgiving, I'm assuming, right? And it's a very interesting way to talk about what you're thankful about, because it doesn't necessarily sound like he has the best relationship with his extended family or friends, or with his extended family members, or just in general with his family life, innit? Let's just see what he has to say, what he's thankful for in general. Let's hear what the Big Brown has to say about it. Oh, and is it true that people said, I'm not sure if I saw someone in a forum that someone said the name Big Brown doesn't come from the fact that people used to think that he was Mexican or whatnot when he was coming up in fighting. It was because supposedly he shit himself in the ring or something. Is that true? Or is that just some sort of fake? I'm assuming that's some sort of troll, right? Story that people put out there. It has to be, right? The shitting himself in the octagon. That's why somebody called him Big Brown. The internet is so mean to this guy, man. Honestly, ridiculously mean. It's funny to watch from afar, but goddamn, people hate him, man. But yeah, let's play.
Try to keep it traditional around the crib, right? I'm surrounded by Mexicans, and they do like pozole for Thanksgiving, which drives me nuts. So I do my own thing, man. I make it a white Thanksgiving, and I do a turkey. When I say do a turkey, I mean I ordered it from Erewhon. I ordered that. I make my own gravy, and I do the whole mashed potatoes, and then we watch football. I try to keep some American tradition in the household, man, because my girl's slowly converting all the family into the Mexican traditions. So you can do both. I try to keep it traditional around the.
Does that sound like a man that's happy at home? He doesn't sound that happy, does he? Imagine, man, that sounds so miserable. Don't you think that sounds miserable? You've got like a Mexican family, or, half of your family's Mexican, rich history, rich culture. You'd imagine you'd want to somehow merge the two things, right? Try and bring some of his supposed English roots and Germanic ancestry into it. Maybe just, have a little funky Thanksgiving dinner, mesh the cultures or something, show your kids two different sides of how to celebrate, Thanksgiving. Instead, it sounds like he's just miserable in that household. Like, do you know what I mean? Absolutely miserable. No embracing of the Mexican culture whatsoever, or that side of his family, even though his kids are going to be, if you think about it, his kids are probably going to grow up to identify more with their Mexican heritage than they are going to be American. Supposedly, they both speak fluent Spanish because the mum speaks Spanish to them all day long. He hasn't learned a lick of it. Like, not even, again, I'm not cursing the guy because, I'm not in the best position myself to insult anybody in their language skills, but it's not even like he even tries to be curious. You don't even hear him talking about, some new dish he learned about or this stuff. He's just, the only thing he speaks about when it comes to Mexico is fucking narcos. That's it. Narcos, and that's it, basically. Nothing else. Narcos. Maybe tequila, maybe. I don't know. But that's about it you hear from him when it comes to Mexican heritage and his culture. It's fucking weird, man. It's really, really strange. But again, who knows what goes on in the household. Maybe it is a bit annoying to wake up in your home that you paid for, right? Your home that you paid for, and there's just mad Spanish being spoken in the house. No one even changes it to English when you walk in. You have to try and decipher what's going on with your own self. I mean, it just must be so bad. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. It must be super sad. But yeah, what people saying here? There's a whole wall of text I missed. Sorry about the chat. I missed all this chat. What are people saying? Hey, Casino, you should go after Sayan's new unique. You'd win for sure and get some traffic. Nah, man. I'm not in the business of going after anybody. We're just having a bit of laugh here, hanging around, taking the piss. But I'm not in the business of going after people. That's not what I do. This is not going after. We're just having a little bit of a laugh. These are clips that are online. I'm not, denigrating anybody or, insulting their family or trying to get clout off them. This is just some internet fun. These are internet personalities. This is all content they put out on there. We have some laughs, we exchange some LOLs, and we keep it moving, but no going after anybody. That's not what I do. It says here, you don't have burgers on Cinco de Mayo. You have turkey. I know what he's talking about because he posted those fucking burgers with those pieces of cheese on it, innit? Big up HM33, man. That's okay. You don't have burgers on Cinco de Mayo. Christina O'Carroll says when he said he did this own thing, he basically ate turkey by himself. Exactly. It sounds like he just made the turkey and the gravy, or supposedly he made his own turkey. He made his own. No, he bought the turkey and then he made his own gravy. Supposedly made it, right? Just probably powdered gravy. He put into some hot water. Again, no shame. Do your thing. And then what? He just sat in front of a TV and with his Bluetooth headphones and just listened to the football on his own, with all these kids around him and shit. That must be horrible, man. What else people said? Someone said here, Pozole is delicious. Yeah, I'd imagine it is. I've never had it before. Wes Leach Zilic says, doesn't like long-haired, doesn't like long beard wearing dorks. Ian, I don't know what that means. Joan says they talk if you cross to Mexico, you get 100% to be kidnapped. Said Joe says you're a good dude, actually no mad respect. Le Tomatis says thank you, mate. Respect, Joe. Le Pantomime says you do acknowledge that you said balaclava. I know you meant asking me, but I have to know. Balaclava. What did I say? Did I say balaclava or did I say balaclava? Either way, a beanie hat is not a disguise. Can we agree with that one at least? Can we agree? A beanie hat is not a disguise. Maybe it's me, but in my country, if you wear a beanie hat and you walk past somebody you know, they're still gonna say hi. You know what I mean? You don't suddenly transform into another person. That's what I think anyway. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. From what I know, if you wanna be in disguise, you wear a mask. Do you know what I mean? Or you don't go outside. Like, I don't know. One of those things is a good disguise. But let's move on. Next on the list here, what else we have? Oh, this is a funny one. Yeah, this is interesting because this is a tiny clip, and this is courtesy of the URL you see. It says here, Schaub's been podcasting for 9 years. Now, this isn't really a big deal, right? To be honest, this is not that big of a deal. But I just think it's an interesting illustration of maybe why some people don't like the guy too much, and also why I think this is also a bad indication or reflection of his personality overall, right? The fact that you would lie about such a tiny thing, such a, something that could be easily be provable, something that could easily be disproven, is really concerning, right? Because I think he's, this is before he goes to record a podcast with that guy, the fitness, the bodybuilder guy, Bradley Martin from YouTube. Before he records a podcast, they do a little vlog, I guess, thing, and they obviously exchange some banter, and I don't know, Martin's impressed about him being there early or whatever, and again, some sort of, back and forth, and Brendan mentions how long he's been podcasting, right, or how long he's been doing whatever they've been doing, content creation, and it's such a weird lie to make. It doesn't really make any sense, but let's just play it, right? Boom.
I'm not nervous. He's nervous. You intimidate him.
What?
No. You intimidate him. He's over here taking 2 shots. He usually doesn't take shots.
Don't be nervous, man.
Bradley
I'm a professional. I'm a professional, man.
Yeah.
I've been podcasting for 9 years.
Have you really?
Yeah, 9 years. 10,000 hours, son.
Wait, yeah.
So as they walk in, they're exchanging banter. Bradley Martin is talking about... No, Bradley Martin's, I guess, his assistant or whoever's working with him tells Brendan, he's really nervous. He's been drinking coffee, trying to get up for this thing. And Brendan's like, hey, don't be nervous. I'm a professional. I've been doing this for 9 years. 10,000 hours, son. But he hasn't. He started podcasting, or the Fighter and the Kid started in 2015, when I started my podcast in 2015, right? The Agostino Zinga Show, which you should check out on all podcasting platforms. It's available on my channel. Check it out. The links will be in the description. Check out my podcast, Agostino Zinga Show. Check it out on all the channels, whatever. But he started in 2015. If I'm not mistaken, 2015 to now is like 6-7 years, depending, right, on how you want to calculate it. But it's nowhere near 9. And it's such an it's such an unnecessary lie that it makes you wonder, if you can lie about something like that so small, what else are you lying about? And it reminds me a lot of this. I don't know about you guys, if you ever grew up with kids like this, but when I was younger, I grew up sometimes, in our group of, I don't know, I think it's a worldwide thing, actually. Boys can lie a lot when you're young and you're dumb, right? And I remember there was a thing where people used to do where they used to lie about what computer consoles they had, right? This was back when everyone had like Nintendo 64s and PlayStations and shit, and Dreamcast and whatnot. And for whatever reason, people will just make up and say, yeah, I have all of them. I've got the Dreamcast, I've got the Nintendo, I've got the PlayStation, I've got a Game Boy Advance, I've got what's that handheld PlayStation thing? They just say they had everything. I have this PC as well. But whenever you'd ask to go around their house to come and play the game, because back then there was no such thing as playing online and shit, you could never go in. It was always, there's always some excuse. My mum is cleaning. My mum is not feeling well. My mum said not today. Like, there was always something going on, always, until it got to the point where you got a little bit older and you was able to kind of reflect on it, and you're like, hold on, that kid never had those computer consoles, did he? He just made them up just so he could be cool, I guess, or to feel like he's part of the group or something. And it's strange because back then it was unnecessary lie to make, because we're all kids. No one could afford to buy those consoles anyway. your parents have to buy them for you. And even if you had parents with money, they might not buy all of them because back then computer consoles were super expensive. So it's not as if like it was. So there was no shame in not having everything. Maybe there was a little bit of shame in like if you didn't have the PlayStation, because even back then PlayStation was always a little bit cooler than Nintendo. So if you had an N64 but you didn't have like a PS1 or a PS2, maybe people would look at you a bit weird. But it was still better than nothing. So why would you lie? Do you know what I mean? And this is what I see with this. It's like it's such an unnecessary lie. He didn't start podcasting 9 years ago because we started podcasting the same time. He started podcasting in 2015, maybe a bit early in the year, and I started podcasting December 2015. Like the first episode, you can see it. It's on my list of go on my archive, 2015. It's all there. It's like such an unnecessary lie. It makes no sense. It's so weird. But again, it goes to show that maybe it's a consequence of living in LA. You kind of always have to kind of, keep the not mystique, but you always have to kind of keep the illusion going, right? You kind of always have to kind of be on guard. You can't ever let anybody know that it's a magic trick. It's always got to be some sort of like, it's a confusion. Like, is it real? Is it not? You know what I mean? It's a guessing game. Maybe it's that, or maybe it's just a personality thing. Because in that instance, right, of that conversation, there's not even a need to lie like that. He says he's nervous about having a podcast. Oh, don't worry, man. I'm a pro. I've been doing this for a long time. You just continue. There's no need to specify the years that you've been doing it in as a flex. You just need to just say, oh, yeah, don't worry, man. Be cool. I'll help you. I'll hold your hand. Just make some sort of offhanded joke, something. Just keep it moving. Why say you've been doing it for 9 when you haven't? It's like such a weird lie, isn't it? But, again, we're all different, aren't we? We're all different. Next clip, we roll on. Then we have, this is, this I think he's speaking about, if I'm not mistaken. It keeps a bit jittering too much. I don't want to zoom it out too much. Maybe if I zoom it out and I just bold it, maybe it'll do better. I don't know. Let me see if this works. Bear with me. I'm going to see if this works a little bit. Bear with me a second. Let's put it normal and see if this works. Maybe it'll be better this way, because it is kind of jittering a little bit. Bear with me 1 second as I edit this and make sure it doesn't jitter too much or doesn't buffer too much, because my computer, as you know, classic, my computer is crying out for RAM. That's what it's crying out for. It's crying out for RAM. My computer. Okay, let's put it big screen and see if it works. Oh, it's doing that nonsense where it doesn't load on the big screen properly. Just load, you absolute nutter. Come on. Oh, again. Okay, bear with me 1 sec. See what the chat's saying. I got a turbo graphics card. I learned my cousin. Whiskey turned to thing. Okay, bear with me. I'm just going to refresh the screen and make sure everything's working well. What's the dude saying? Schaub stole the studio design from someone too. Lacrasse says, yo, he's got rolls on the back of his head. Schaub lacks ability to coherently put words together. Poor dude, got hit hard on the head. Baklava. Jones. Isn't baklava the food? I don't think I meant that. I definitely meant the woolly hat, the one with the holes in it. Isn't that called a balaclava? Or am I not saying it correctly? Am I doing a Schaubism? Isn't it called a balaclava when you got the woolly hat with the holes in it? That's what I thought it was. I didn't mean the food. I'm assuming, that's a dish, right? Baklava, that's some sort of dish. But I mean the woolly hat. But anyway, let's continue with this. Let's see if this loads properly. Bear with me 1 second as it's loading. It's loading. Nobody knew who he fucking was. I love all these memes popping up on the thing. All these homeless cats memes popping up in the chat is giving me life, man. Nobody knows who the fuck you are. Come on, let's continue. Load. This was working before, I promise. I did prepare all these clips beforehand, but it's been a little bit jittery and I want to show off a bit and I want to have it in full screen. Let's see if this works. Balaclava. That's what I said, didn't it? Yeah. Or did I say or did I say it different? Baklava. I'm afraid I'm getting it's balaclava. Yeah, that's what I said. Right? Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's go on. Let's play this clip.
Just launch.
Hold on. Just talk about just launch. Let's get this to full screen. Let's put this over here. No. Stop. Let's go full screen. Why is it doing this? Why is it not full?
What's the name of the whiskey?
It's called.
Why is it not full screen? It's so strange, isn't it? Interesting. It's not letting me do it full screen on this. I have no idea why. Okay, we move. Let's just move on. Technical difficulties in the studio. I don't have a young Jamie here, so I'm doing everything on the fly. You feel me? Lord, give me life. Okay, let's just do what I was doing before, because this is not working the way I want it to work. But you know, we move in it. We move. So anyway, yeah, this is a clip again, courtesy of the Homeless Cats, as per usual. Brendan sitting down with Bradley Martin, talking about how he got started, how he started the origins of his new fledgling whiskey brand that's yet to hit the shelves, I think. But anyway, look, let's hear about the origin story about the whiskey.
Launch whiskey, like it's
What's the name of the whiskey?
it's called Tiger Thiccc.
Tiger Thiccc.
So it's about my son, and then also my brand is Thick. So
Oh, really?
About that is same with you. Like everything you do, like you know, like when you want to start, it's so funny. We won't talk about it. I wasn't going to get into it, but it's like merch or like podcast or whatever it is. Like you'll have a vision, and then it's like, yep, and then you have the team, the resource to get it done. Well, with alcohol, it's like fucking Yellowstone. It's like John Dutton on the ranch. Like there's all these previous landowners, dude, and they've been there for hundreds of years.
Oh yeah.
And for you to break land and get in there,
The barrier to entry is massive.
dude, it's like the distribution. And like in my head, I was like, oh, it's direct consumer. I'll make my whiskey. I'll make sure it's fucking
Yeah, I'll
lit.
put it on Shopify and sell it.
And it's like, no, bitch. No, what? No. So it's like, I didn't know this. And then
I gotta say, right, to be honest, let's be honest. I think, hey, what's up, Infinite Ugly? Big up. Mad respect, Infinite Ugly. Big up you. I have to be honest, right? Let's be fair. I think Brendan might be a representation of the American dream. I really do think so. My man has made a successful career, right? He's a millionaire, probably in a big house, loads of fancy cars, cool kicks, slanging dicks, tattoos, right? Street food, right? All this stuff, right? Doing the good stuff. And in business and all that good stuff, right? And he thought he could just start a liquor company, make a brand, and sell his liquor or sell his whiskey on his store online, direct to consumer, with no checks and balances, no this, no that, no nothing, no research. Just went straight into it thinking he could sell the same way he sells, rip-off copycat merch from, of sports team, and he flips the logo into something else to do with Thick. He thought he could do the same thing with whiskey and just, make money hand over fist. He probably thought to himself, I don't know why no one's doing this. It's insane. He's a living embodiment, of my opinion, of the American dream. He is the American dream because he's made it. He's made it despite all of his limitations, despite his reluctance to research, despite his inability to put words together coherently, right? Despite so many other things. Honestly, he's done it. So that's why in some cases I get why he will look at it and think, oh, my haters are jealous, or because they don't where I am, and I understand why he'll feel that way, because I think deep down he also knows. He knows I shouldn't be here. I mean, I shouldn't be here. Someone as dumb as me shouldn't be in the position I am in. But the way the universe works, it makes no sense. People don't get what they deserve; they get what they take. All right. He tried to go out there and take it. He tried to go out there. He saw a bottle of what's it called? He saw a bottle of Jameson's and thought, I could do that. That's also me. I could also have my own Jameson's. And he wanted to sell it himself, not knowing that there's an entire business and industry that revolves around alcohol that is, I guess there's a lot of red tape, a lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of greasing of the elbows, greasing of the palms or whatnot, which is why a lot of people just partner up with, people like, what's her name? Like the Kendall Jenner and whatnot. And whoever, Rick Ross with the Belvedere. That's why you do those collaborations where you become the face, so you don't have to deal with all the logistical, admin, supply chain issue stuff. I mean, you can just be the face of it. You can put your face on the logo. You can hand it out to your fighter friends and keep it moving. But this idea that he could legitimately think you could just start making whiskey and just sell it on his shop is just, on his online store, is just insane. But again, he is the American dream.
Yesterday I'm on call with my team and we're going through it, and it was like, oh, we got work to do, dude, which I'm never afraid of. But I was like, oh, this is a different beast, which I love the challenge. And I literally, just before this, that's why I had to push back to 2. We're supposed to do at 1, because I was on the call with these distributors. Who, you know, and it's like, dude, you're not gonna like come out with a whiskey and that's available nationwide.
Yeah,
like,
no,
bitch, you're gonna start in Texas, California, New York, and then we'll see how it goes.
You have to prove to them.
You have to prove to
continue
them,
to buy
yeah, because it's so competitive, dude. Everyone and their brother has a.
You're gonna have to show up to places.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pitch it on them, which I have no problem doing.
Yeah,
but it's just like, you know, I'm a white belt in this black belt world of whiskey and liquor, and it's just like, oh, hey, bitch, you're not George Clooney. Yeah. Like, you got some shit to do.
But the funny thing is, all of that being said, knowing these limitations and being quite self-deprecating, look at the price of this shit. Supposedly, right, this is from the Homeless Cats again. Look at the price of this shit. Look at the price. $77.99. That is insane, no? Is 750 ml the same as what is it? What we have in the UK would be 70 cl, is it? I think for a bottle of whiskey, or like just under a liter. That is a crazy amount, don't you think so? That puts it up in a real high end, because I think what's that one that all the podcasters like to drink? What's that one called? Oh shit, what's it called? All the podcasters drink? Not Jameson. Jameson's obviously the kind of entry level shit. Actually, how much does Proper 12 go for in America? How much do they sell a bottle of Proper 12? I'd imagine it's like $40, right? Is Proper 12 $40? $40, $30 for Proper 12? That is insane that he's selling it for $77. That is really high end. Or I would assume approaching the high end as soon as you get to the $100 mark. Because I check out, I'm always going, whenever I want to buy whiskey, I always check the, what's the channel? I always check Whiskey Vault. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, but if you're not familiar, check out. There's a channel called Whiskey Vault, and they do really good reviews on whiskey. They have their own whiskey shop as well. I think they have their own dispensary and all this sort of shit. They're amazing dudes, right? And they do a channel basically, and they review whiskeys, and they have like taste tests, and they have like they have reviews and shit. And obviously they do ones where they kind of have, get this really amazing whiskey for under $100, and it's always really great ones. But I'm just thinking, like, I think most people, I don't know, most people, would you spend that amount of money on a whiskey brand you had never heard of, especially, you know, one from a fucking former UFC fighter? Like, why would you do that? I'm trying to think. For Proper 12 is $30 average. Okay, imagine trying to decide between buying. And supposedly, from what I've heard, again, I've never tasted Proper 12, but I've heard Proper 12 is disgusting. People say it's terrible. Is that true? People say it's really bad, but for some reason it sells really well, right? The numbers, the numbers are crazy. I'm always seeing Conor McGregor posting how much sales they're doing in it, and I'm sure he's only got a small bit of ownership in the brand, but still, he must make a lot of money off Proper 12. But I don't know, man. It's hard to justify that price. But I guess, to be fair to him, maybe this is the first sort of like starting price that he has, because he's obviously first getting into the market. Then once he kind of gets a bit of a foothold, maybe they'll kind of change it. But I don't know, man. That's insane. The bottle as well. Maybe it's me, but I think the name is terrible. Am I the only one that think the name is terrible? It doesn't necessarily roll off the tongue that well. It kind of sounds like Tiger Thiccc. I don't know, man. The bottle design isn't the great. I don't like the label. Like, you know what I mean? There's not much to like about it. I don't think so. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Buffalo Trace. That's the one. Buffalo Trace. The one that all the podcasters drink, right? Buffalo Trace is about what? Is Buffalo Trace around $30? I think it's about $30 here. I've heard it's like cough syrup. Oh, shit. Proper 12 is like cough syrup. Okay, cool. But that's a lot, man. $77. Shit. God damn, Brendan. But yeah, interesting, isn't it? Interesting price. And again, the name I'm not a fan of. I drink Wild Turkey and Maker's Mark 46. Yeah, how much is Wild Turkey? Wild Turkey is just a little bit above Buffalo Trace, right? In terms of pricing. I'd assume Wild Turkey is like $50, right? 50, maybe 50, 60 mark? Or is it in the same thing? Not even real Japanese whiskey. Of course it's not. Who would have thought it was Oh yeah, because he's got all the little Japanese little words there, isn't it? To make it look like it is from Japan. Like, oh yeah. Jefferson, Ocean Age, not even real whiskey. Look, we've got a lot of whiskey. We've got a lot of whiskey connoisseurs in the chat. Big up you, man. Yeah, I usually just go for. I'm a cheap arsehole. I usually just go for Jameson's, or sometimes if I'm feeling spicy, I'll get Buffalo Trace. But I seem to be the only one in my friends group that enjoys the Buffalo Trace taste. Most people hate it. They think it tastes like cat piss. That's why I've always got back from people. They think it tastes like cat piss. But I really like it. And I also got another one too that I liked from Whiskey Vault. I got a recommendation from them on their channel. I got a what I get recommended from the channel. Whiskey Vault recommended, I think it's Bullet. Do you know that? Do you know that whiskey? I think it was Bullet. I think that's the one I got recommended. I got recommended this one. I think it was Bullet. I think Bullet whiskey, is it here? That's the one, yeah. I got this. I thought this was pretty nice. I had this before. I really enjoyed it. I didn't mind this too much. Wild Turkey is like $40 for half a gallon. That's pretty decent, man. But yeah, this is what I got. If it's gonna load quickly. But yeah, I got this last. This is what I got last. I had, and I really enjoyed the taste of this. I thought this was quite tasty, and I got recommended this from Thingamajiggy from Whiskey Vault. So definitely check them out. Whiskey Vault channel on YouTube. They're fucking awesome, man. Those guys do some. I think they got two. They got a Whiskey Tribe, and they've got a Whiskey Vault channel. Both of them do really good reviews and stuff and recommendations on stuff to buy, whatnot. Bullet is good for the price as well. Yeah. So that's me, man. But yeah, big up Brendan for thinking. Oh, it's bourbon. Oh yeah, true. But again, I'm a novice. I'm a proper, kid when it comes to this shit. I just like stuff to drink that I can drink easy on the rocks and it's not gonna burn my throat or anything. And I'm pretty much straight on that one. And then obviously we'll move on from that and we'll talk about this throwing shade. Yeah, again, drinking during the day. How early? Again, but it's different, isn't it, when you're entertaining, you're doing podcasts and stuff. I guess it's different if you're a normal person. But how early is too early to have your first drink? At home, not on holiday. When you're on holiday, all bets are off. On holiday, do what you want. Wake up, and don't even brush your teeth and have a beer. You know what I mean, I've done that plenty of times. But when you're at home, how early is too early to have an alcoholic beverage? I would say anytime before 12, personally. I don't know why it matters, because it's just a fucking time in the day. But I would say that. Oh, let's quickly cone this comment here. It says, as a Mexican Brit, I hate the way Brendan talks about Mexico. Also, pozole is fucking delicious. It's like soup, halfway between fresh pho and stew. Also, I realize I'm about 20 minutes behind live. Okay. No worries. Le Petomane, it's all good. Propatov is $31. They say here, the car's data node says, the tiger, the thickest big cat on the planet, born blind, they hunt within a year, a thick boy we know for coming to slow at the stage. Honestly, man, that name for that whiskey is fucking terrible, man. I get it, what he's doing because of a brand. It probably would have been better off just calling it thick whiskey. Do you know what I mean? Instead of calling it Tiger Thiccc, just call it thick whiskey. I guess he's trying to name it after his kid. Or just, like that would have been better. But the Tiger Thiccc, it makes no sense. Tiger whiskey also would, because Tiger whiskey to me, if I saw a bottle that said Tiger whiskey on the shelf, it would either have to be something really good or something that you'd buy from like a gas station. You know what I mean? That's sold in like the, I don't know, 4-liter flipping tubs or some shit. That would be what it'd be called, but it wouldn't be anything in between. So that's why I think that's a bit weird, but whatever, innit? Who cares? Next clip. So this is Brendan throwing shade, it looks like, at Kendall Jenner and somebody else famous for making their liquor company or not just being the face of the liquor company, which is weird because why not just do that? That's the easy money grab. And also the way he's doing it is probably not going to work out well and it's probably going to be tied up in, delays and shit, especially with all the supply chain issues going out there, right? You'd want to link up with someone that's an expert, right? Why not link up with a black belt so you can just get the job done? Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. But hey, maybe the gains are going to be amazing at the end because he's doing it all on his own. Maybe that's why. right? If you really want to make the money, maybe actually going all the way on your own and, you know, talking to small distributors, trying to build your name up, blah, 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 is actually the way to go for it. So then when you get to the end and it gets popular, you can make all the bank. But it just seems like a incredible waste of time and resources. You know what I mean? You should divvy it out to the actual experts, be the face of it, and then learn from that. And then maybe use that experience to then go and do your own thing. But, you know, this is Brendan, isn't it? He always does things his own way. But yeah, this is a clip. Let's see what he does. Says it.
Yes. And I think if I was like, I'm not throwing shade at anybody. If I was like, Kendall Jenner with her tequila or some shit, like, come on. She was just like, yeah, use my name. And then some team ran off with it. And then she's like, 818, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll sell that. It's different when you're in it from the ground up, like the label, the details, the bottle, the shape of the bottle, the taste. Like, you're talking years went into everything. And
I find it very interesting that he spoke about everything he spoke about first was stuff that didn't concern the taste of the whiskey. Everything was to do with how it looks. It was more so the look of it than the actual taste. The taste came after. He listed the bottle, the design of the label, then there came the actual quality of the whiskey itself. It's the same thing he does with his comedy. He always mentions ticket sales and money in his account and selling out shows, but it's never, are you funny? Do people bust up laughing? Are people's ribs splitting as they're seeing you, tell jokes on stage? Are their heads cranking back off their neck as you're reciting your pre-rehearsed material? Are people leaving with tears streaming down their face with your jokes? Probably not. Same with the whiskey thing. It's a strange way to get about things. But again, everyone's got their way.
Seeking out the best of the best, from the labels to the bottles to the distribution to the team, the marketing. So it's a little different. This isn't one of those things where somebody who likes whiskey is like, yeah, throw my name on it and throw Thick on there and let's sell it. This isn't that the case at all. This was, as they say in Hollywood, a passion project. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
No, it wasn't. It's a cash grab. It's not a passion project. It's a cash grab. And again, interesting cash grab because, man, maybe it's just me. When it comes to alcohol and stuff, if you just started drinking alcohol in your mid-30s and you started making a brand 2 years later, I'm not going to buy that brand. It just doesn't make any sense. It's a cash grab. You don't drink. You just started drinking 2 years ago. Like, what expertise do you have in that field? Zero. Do you know what I mean? Even as a connoisseur, you haven't, developed enough of a palate to be a discerning connoisseur. Do you know what I mean? To be an actual, well-informed customer. In that regard, you're not even up there. So why should somebody trust you with their hard-earned money to make them an actual proper good quality whiskey? And again, this is all hypothetical. We don't know. This could be amazing. I'm actually interested when it does actually end up getting put into distribution internationally. I'm actually gonna go and buy a bottle and do a taste test of it live and see what it tastes like. But I'm pretty sure by that time it probably would have got either really favorable or really bad reviews online. But from what I've seen from the whiskey tasting community on YouTube, they don't fuck around. If it's shit, they'll tell you it's shit. So let's see, man. Let's see.
I'm looking forward to it. My son saw the bottles and he's all, that's my name. I'm like, yeah, dude, I named it after you. And he's like, Tiger Thiccc. He's like, I'm thick. He goes, Dad, am I thick? You're not very thick, dude. Your brother's thick. Which is why I want to talk to the family about putting Boston on keto. I don't know if it's too early at 2, but the kid needs to tone down on the carb.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, man. I guess that's also like a little kind of reflex, right? People do. I guess when somebody else is doing the thing that you're doing and you're a little bit self-conscious of it, you immediately just attack them in a way to kind of deflect off of you. Because effectively, what Kendall's doing with 818, allegedly, being just the face of it from what he said. Again, I don't know. She might have built it from the ground up. I don't know. Don't care. But if she didn't, that's actually the better, smarter way to go about doing things, especially if you're doing so many other things, right? Kendall's got loads of other businesses I'm sure that she's probably doing, or that whole Kardashian clan have. Why would you waste all your time trying to develop a whiskey from the ground up, only for it to fail anyway, taking away from the time that's actually taking you away from doing the stuff that's actually paying the bills? Why would you do that? Why don't just stick to doing what you know and then have somebody else do all the grunt work for that stuff, and then you just present it with your face and shit on your brand? Why have all those followers if you can't leverage it and do that thing? Do you know what I mean? Why would you do that? Doesn't Brendan have like 1 million followers on Instagram or something? Why not use that notoriety? Maybe some of it is bots and stuff, who knows? But regardless, it doesn't matter. You've got the numbers. use it and front the company. Maybe, strange, but maybe it means no one was willing to use him as a front for it. Because I'm sure there was a time where he was like, what whiskey was promoting? He was promoting that that kind of fake Japanese one, right? That was kind of made from some sort of rice-based something, whatever. And I think he was trying to make a collab with them, and that didn't work out because they just wanted to get the eyes, get his, obviously, they leveraged his, audience, gave him free bottles, and then just kind of dusted because they didn't need to give him the money because, they got what they need to get out of that deal. Maybe that's why he hasn't got anybody lining up and knocking at his door, so he just did it himself. So I rate that, to be honest. But again, I still think it's a waste of time. But maybe it might benefit him in the future. Who knows? Let's move on to the next thing here. What is the next one? I'll cover the price for the entire shift if anyone. What is this one about? I don't know what this one's about. Oh yeah, this is whether or not I think you can understand what he says here. Absolute legend. Let's hear this comment. But yeah, the drinking early on the podcast every single day, it's wild to me, man. Like, I understand I get the freedom in it. I think it's quite cool, isn't it? It must be freeing to do this. Imagine me doing this full time. This would be amazing. I don't have to leave the stream and go to bed, so I don't have to wake up to work in the morning. I'm assuming it's a proper, decent life. I mean, to be able to speak into a microphone and chat shit like I am and get paid for it, I'm sure it's amazing. So it affords you some privileges and some luxuries that the normal everyday working guy like myself doesn't have. So maybe because of that, you might indulge in some takeaways, maybe more. You might indulge in some drinking. You might be able to go on vacation more often because you don't have to, ask someone to approve your holidays. Those are little small things. You can get up and work whenever you want. Cool. But I wouldn't take that advantage just so I could drink. It's not that big of a deal. Do you know what I mean? That wouldn't be the first thing I run to. But again, he's got 2 small kids. He's got a wife and shit. He lives. Does his mother-in-law live in the same house as him? I'm not too sure, but I'm assuming that, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he just wants to run away and kind of drown and forget his sorrows. But it just seems weird to be drinking so early, so often. And it looks like he pours a heavy pour. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't fuck around. He's really fucking gulping that shit in that glass. But anyway, this is him. Let's see if we can decipher what he has to say.
So we get toast. Chin, let's do it from the jump, dog.
Let's do it.
Tiger Thiccc whiskey is dropping.
Yeah.
I gave Chin the first bottle. You're the first one to get a bottle.
First one.
A lot of people asking, but I brought it for Chin.
Jimbo's also drinking, so shout out to Jimbo.
Jimbo, enjoy. If you don't like it, keep that to yourself.
He already says he loves it.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, smooth, right?
Yeah.
Me and my girl drank it last night.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys. Long time coming, man.
That doesn't look like a good review to me. What do you think? Do you think this is a good review? Do you think this is a good review? If you made a whiskey and somebody had this reaction to when they drank it first sip, what do you think?
Cheers, boys. Long time coming, man. Cheers, boys. Long time coming, man. Cheers, boys.
That doesn't look like a good review to me. That's not look good. Like that looks like he just. That looks like that burned his phone and the back of his guns. But again, seeing is believing. Tasting is believing. We have to actually sip this ourselves, right? We actually have to have a sip ourselves and we judge. So I'm not going to hold off on the judgment. It might be amazing when we get it in our glasses and shit, but that's not the best review, I don't think. When somebody makes that face when they just had your whiskey for the first time, you're going to be a little bit annoyed. I would imagine. Exactly. Yeah. Someone would look across. Don't say anything bad or I'll beat you up. Exactly. The former heavyweight UFC fighter is telling you, if my whiskey's bad, don't tell me or I'll kill you. Chris Benoit style. Do you know what I mean? I'll take you and your whole family out. Oh, mate. Absolute scenes. But yeah, let's move on from that one. Next on the list here. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. So, for whatever reason, Brendan decided that, at the age of 37, he wants to get a neck tattoo, whatever, do your thing. It is what it is. I guess when you're the guy that starts drinking your mid-30s and shit, the neck tattoos doesn't really make that big of a difference. It is what it is, isn't it? Whatever you can do to, give yourself a personality or a bit of an edge, whatever you can do, mate, make yourself look hard. But it's not that big of a deal. I think guys do it all the time. They'll go from looking, completely plain to completely being covered, full sleeves, full body, neck, faces. I mean, people do it all the time overnight, especially the guys on YouTube and shit. Usually do it for a look, for an aesthetic. But it's always funny whenever you see a guy covered in tattoos who doesn't really live that life, and they're kind of normie, guys with like skinny jeans and little shitty shoes and shit. They like basic bitch music, don't really interested. They have nothing really dark or interesting about them. Everything's really kind of vanilla. It's like, why? I mean, the tattoos are meant to give you something interesting, a little bit of an edge. I mean, it's a little bit counterculture, and then you just like everything. You listen to top 20 hit radio shit. You watch everything basic that happens on Netflix. I mean, you don't go. It should just. I don't know. I always thought that was a bit weird, but maybe tattoos have kind of become so commercial and become so popular now that they're not really that same counterculture thing before. It's just like it's like a skin version of jewelry, right? It's like it's like an adornment you're putting on yourself, I guess, in some respects. But anyway, who cares? Let's move on. The clip is Brendan talking about him getting a tattoo on his neck. And you're going to find out after this clip why he's getting a tattoo on his neck, because clearly it's never an original idea. It's always somebody else has to do it first, and then he jumps on it. But yeah, let's go.
That's insane.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get a neck tattoo, and then he just sent me that. I'm like, holy fuck, you got your neck done?
It looks so gangster, too.
He's like, yeah, why don't you do it? I'm like, because I already look like a Hell's Angel.
But you're probably going to get one, right?
Yeah.
So, Brendan thinks he looks like a Hell's Angel. Again, not American. I don't purport to be an expert on American, what you call it. I don't purport to be an expert on American culture, but from what I know, Hell's Angels guys look a bit hard. They look a bit rough around the edges. They're actual outlaws, right? Bandits, right? Banderos, right? As they say in Spanish, right? They don't fuck around. I don't think they look like guys that wear, F-white Jordans, right? And upside down LA hats and, jerseys from every single state they visit because supposedly they follow the team. That's not what Hell's Angels look like. And then I Googled it. I thought, no, this is what Hell's Angels look like. This is what Hell's Angels look like. They look nothing like the guy. Maybe this dude looks maybe slightly similar-ish to Brendan, but still, this looks like a guy that has lived a real life. Somebody he's been through some things. He's seen some things. This is not somebody who's mucking around. Look at that. Look at the headline underneath it. Whatever. I don't know what RI is. What area? It's an area, I'm assuming. Hell's Angel boss charged with firing a gun at a passing car in Providence. This is somebody who's been through some shit. And for whatever reason, right? For whatever reason, this guy over here, right? Let's screw it back a bit. This guy thinks he looks like this guy. What? He look nothing alike. Do you know what I mean? He thinks because he's got tattoos and he's like a little bit olive or big that somehow people think that he looks like a Hell's Angel. It's like, what? What's this idea that all Hell's Angels are really big? Are they big? I don't think so. Are they all tall? No. They just look hard. They look like they're fucking, criminals. They look like they've been on the streets. They look like they've been riding bikes and beating up people their whole entire lives. They look like they're from a fucking organized gang that happen to ride on fucking motorbikes. Oh, it's Rhode Island. Okay, big up. RI's Rhode Island. That's what they look like. They don't look like this because they're not meant to look like this because, he sits in the studio and talks about UFC stuff. These guys ride their bikes and they take part in outdoor UFC fights. Do you know what I mean? Unsanctioned ones, sometimes with guns. I don't understand it, man. Really, really bizarre thing to say. I look like an Hell's Angel. Like, that's why I'm going to get a neck tattoo. But I guess anyway, it's not that, to be fair to him too, it's like what all guys do, right? All guys have this idea in their head of what they look like. But then what you actually look like is completely different. So he probably thinks when he gets a neck tattoo, he's going to end up looking like this. But in actuality, he's just going to look the same with how he looks, with just a neck tattoo on. There's no real difference in it. Like, there's nothing that is similar to these type of dudes, to anything that, Brendan looks like. These guys look like real ragamuffins. You know what I mean? These guys have been through some shit. I see a Hell's Angel, I'm like, okay, cool. They only look like they look like some real hardened criminals, mate. But for whatever reason, he thinks he looks the same. But whatever. And if you're wondering why he's decided now to all of a sudden get a neck tattoo, why he's inspired to go that direction, look no further than this little picture. What the fuck is going on there? For whatever reason, Chris D'Elia has decided to get a tattoo on his neck that says 40, I think, right? 40? I'm not sure if it's to do with his age or if it's to do with the number of fucking allegations he was hit with early last year or whatnot from all those supposed underage girls, or whether this is just him saying, I don't know, what could this be? 40 weeks without drunk texting somebody on Instagram, 40 weeks without getting in somebody's DMs, 40 weeks without wanking. I don't know, what could that actually be? Oh, Infinite Ugly, bad to head out. Peace out, Infinite Ugly. Good to see you, brother. What do you think 40 could represent? What do you reckon that could represent? Because I think it's fucking mad, bruv. But it's interesting too as tattoos go, because if I'm not mistaken, he got the first one on his hand and then the second one on his neck. It's an interesting way to go in it, to go straight for the really but then I guess again, if you're a comedian or if you're somebody who's been afforded the privilege of having a career where you don't have to work in an office, why not? I mean, why not just go straight for the neck, straight for the hand? You know what I mean, what next tier? Like, it's an interesting tattoo. Interesting, isn't it? Personally, I think it looks fucking lame. I think it screams midlife crisis. I think it's probably an indication or some sort of cry for help, right? Probably is, right? He went from being the number one guy at the top of his mountain to completely tumbling down it. Undeservedly so, I have to be honest. Let's say undeservedly so. I think now looking back at it, even at the time I said the allegations were fucking garbage. He was basically cancelled for being too horny. Is that a crime? You're being too horny? And because he has taste in young... That's the thing I never understood when it came to D'Elia stuff. For whatever reason, people didn't like the fact that he likes 18-year-old girls. But then for whatever reason, Tom Cruise, or not Tom Cruise, what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio is allowed to, or people kind of laugh and snigger and kind of, oh, haha, Leonardo's so crazy. But Leonardo only dates girls that are under 25 or 26 or something. What's the difference? Just because 18 sounds too close to 17, that's an issue. But if they're 22, it's perfectly fine. It's the same profile of girl. Like, I would imagine 18-year-olds and 26 or 22-year-olds probably have the same level of conversation anyway. Do you know what I mean? I don't really understand it. It just doesn't make any sense. Clout Tree, no, it's not fake. Supposedly, the wrinkles are from... somebody said in a forum, it's this new thing they put on your tattoos nowadays. If you get a new tattoo so it heals quicker, it's like a patch, like a clear sort of band-aid sort of thing. It helps to protect it, and I guess let it sit in, whatever. Usually back in the day you'd get it and they'd wrap cling film around you. Nowadays they've got this new bit of this kind of clear tape they put, and I guess it looks like that when you kind of bend, because he's a little bit tilted. That's why it's got the wrinkles. But it definitely does look fake. I don't think it is fake. I don't think he'd go to the trouble of having the fake tattoo just to kind of troll the internet. I don't think he's at that stage now. It's definitely meaningful, I'm sure. It's because again, he's been through a lot, but damn, man. Who would have guessed it, innit, right? During the height of the 10-minute podcast days, when he was going on Firing a Kid and trying to get guest of the year, that a few years later he'd be where he is now, basically, a bit of a shut-in, it feels like. Doesn't necessarily go on other people's shows, kind of keeps himself to himself, has these, now he's adorned himself with neck tattoos, turned into dad of the century. It's mad. And again, all those girls that came out and said all that shit, I think one of those girls that accused him at first got fucking verified on Instagram. It's like, what a terrible world we live in, innit? On one side, he's getting removed from his movie by Tig Notaro, or replaced by Tig Notaro, and on the other side, the accuser is getting an Instagram verified, which is, a legit form of, is a legit kind of revenue, is a legit kind of way for you to kind of increase your earning potential on Instagram. I'm pretty sure you get it verified. I'm sure you get these different DMs that start coming through, people wanting to advertise on your platform, because of course you got the cheeky blue check mark on your account. But I don't know, there's something bizarre about this But maybe it's not the same level of lameness. What's more lame? Drinking in your mid-30s, or starting to drink in your mid-30s for the first time, smoking weed in your mid-30s for the first time, or getting loads of tattoos for the first time in your mid-30s. You can do whatever you want. No one's telling you not to do it. But what's lamer? What's more? What seems to be the thing that people look at you and say, "What a dork!" Like who raised this guy? You know what I mean, like I wonder. I think for me, it would go in terms of lameness. I would say definitely the whiskey drinking, or definitely alcohol in general. Mid-30s, when you haven't been drinking before, that definitely is number one lame. Number two, definitely be weed, because I feel like people that are super into weed are unbearable. And number three, definitely the tattoos, because I feel like, you know, there comes a point where, you know, you can't just give it up. When you're in your mid-40s and shit, and you gotta have to give it up. Let's relax with the tattoos. You know what I mean? Let's relax. But hey, and also, who are you doing them for? Who's gonna find those tattoos cool? Not women in their mid-40s. Let me tell you that. Definitely gonna be younger girls. It's like, aren't you meant to be in a relationship and at home and, you know, recovering from sex addiction or whatever? Why would you want a tattoo on your neck? Who are you trying to impress? Maybe it's not to impress. It's for me, man, so I can remind myself that I've been through it. Yeah, shut up. Shut the fuck up. But let's move on. Let's move on from that one. What else you got to talk about here? Oh yeah, this is an interesting one. So this is Brendan and Brian Callen talking about the aftermath of him filming You'd Be Surprised, right? His blockbuster Showtime, and all intents and purposes blockbuster Showtime comedy special. And wow, man, the lack of let's say self-awareness is not even the right thing to say, but it's just interesting how this man's mind thinks, how his brain works. It fascinates me. It really is. But again, I just say he is the American dream. He's been able to succeed in spite of all his obvious shortcomings, you know, in terms of, you know, whatever, the whole CTE shit. But let's hear what Brendan thinks about what went into his decision to have a Showtime special so early on in his comedy career, which everyone advised him against, but he still went for it because he thought he made the right decision. But let's hear his rationale behind it.
Like, remember how mad I was at you when Showtime goes, "Hey, we're gonna give you a special." I came to you like, "Don't do it."
I know.
And I went, "Oh, you're just hating on me, but you don't want me to do this." But you're like, no, I'm trying to look out for you, dude. You've been doing comedy for a year and a half.
I begged you.
Don't do a special. And I go, "But they're giving me a special. You're just a hater." Sure enough, like, of course I wasn't right.
I was just trying to protect you from.
But you and Rogan were like, "Dude, don't do it. Like, it doesn't make sense." And I go, you guys know what you're talking about. You've been doing comedy, but 90 years between the two of you. You know what you're talking about. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then now I'm older, been headlining for 7 years. I'm like, oh my God, they're so right.
It's okay.
And then now I did this next
You
one.
said to me, you see, the great thing about you is that you said to me,
So again, I'm not going to pause it too much, but imagine, for whatever reason, this guy, like, this is an interesting tip because I didn't even know this was a fact. So the You'd Be Surprised, you know, Showtime special was an unmitigating disaster, right? Terrible. Not because he was only a couple of years into stand-up, just because it wasn't funny. I don't think the couple years of stand-up thing matters because, you know, I don't know. I just don't think it matters. I think you're either funny or you're not. Obviously, over the years, you craft, I guess you perfect and you hone your funniness. But there wasn't even a speck, a glimmer you could hold on to say, okay, he's definitely got something. Maybe it's not all the way there, the special, and the first half was maybe good and the second half fell off, or I like the middle, I like the end. There wasn't even anything to hold on to. The entire thing was garbage from the beginning to the end. Like, no, not even talking about it from, not even on a hating tip, just like on a pure honesty thing. It was horrible comedy special. Way too long. Wasn't good. He wasn't funny. All those his kind of way of bantering and joking on the podcast didn't translate on stage. It is what it is, right? Cool. But the interesting part about it is that we didn't know as fans, or especially at that time when I was a fan of The Fighting Kid, we had no idea that the people around him were telling him not to do it. The people he respects, Brian was the guy that, you know, basically gave him his start in the career, right? Linking up with him on The Fighting Kid, telling him to do kind of material, do monologues before the show started, which essentially is what he started doing stand-up. That's the whole story, how the law goes. That whole lie he said about headlining 7 years, again, it's a lie. He hasn't been headlining for 7 years, like, let's be real. But in general, maybe headline show, maybe technically you can say that, but let's be honest, that's not true. But we didn't know all this before, that supposedly the people in his inner circle were telling him not to do it. All fans were saying he shouldn't do it. But then I remember his justification at the time when he was doing it was that, or I think after the fact when everyone was criticizing for doing it so early, was that because I think soon after he did his comedy special, he got a deal with Showtime to do Below the Belt, right? And, you know, then came the Food Truck Diaries and all that sort of stuff. So in theory, if you look at it, maybe it was the right decision to make because it got him in bed with Showtime. It allowed him to kind of get in bed with or get his feet wet in terms of sports broadcasting and having a kind of MMA lifestyle show, he likes to call it, which is basically an excuse not to do research. But he did all that stuff and it came off the back of that Showtime special. But I still think overall, in terms of damage to his reputation, it's done probably more harm than good, because that special was so bad and it was done so kind of bullishly without any kind of acceptance on his side that it was unfunny and not good, and just more so people are hating and all this sort of shit. Remember that was what was that weed company he was working with that emailed people and told them to leave good reviews and stuff. It was a really odd affair, but I'm just blown away that he honestly thought when Brian Callen was telling him not to do the Showtime special that Brian Callen was hating on him, not because he was being more successful. And I think, again, before I quickly play it, this is why I think all those forum guys get under these guys' skin so much, especially the homeless cats, because they are fans first. I think that's what Ariel said, right, before. It made a really astute point. Everyone on the homeless cat subreddit, for the most part, maybe the first 30,000 people on there, they were all fans of the podcast. So they know these guys intimately. They've listened to hours and hours and hours, hundreds of hours of content from these guys. And they can ascertain or kind of gauge how they are as people. They can read into things. And usually they're spot on. So the times back in the day when everyone was saying, oh, it feels like Brendan is big time in Brian because his career at the time was kind of going this way, and Brian was kind of like just you know, kind of going plateauing a little bit, not going anywhere, before he got the Goldbergs, of course, right? And then got the whole like Joker cameo. It felt like Brendan was under the ascendancy and Brian was just like kind of floundering and not just, you know, just hanging on for dear life and whatever it may be. And people said that on the forum, right? They felt as if like Brandon was getting too big for his boots. And I guess this is proof of it. During that time, he legitimately felt like Brian saying to him not to do the Showtime special because it was too early in his career was him hating on him. Like, insane delusion, man.
You text me and you go, I was crazy. No, you said it to me. You go, I don't know why I didn't listen to you. You were trying to protect me from all this, and I was just crazy.
Both of you guys were.
That's
but,
okay.
But in my head, it's like, oh, these guys don't want me to do. They don't want me to excel. But you know, then you get that seed in your head.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, oh, they just don't want me to flourish. Blah blah blah.
I remember.
Nah, no one knows that. No one knows that. No one with the right mind would ever think that they're friends of, because they're meant to be good friends, right? They're legit friends. If they're friends, no one would think that they're friends who've actually been in the game for 10 plus years, telling them maybe you shouldn't do this comedy special after only doing stand-up for a fucking year and a half or whatever it may be isn't a good idea. No one would think that's hating. They would think, you know what, maybe I should take your advice. Like, what? Hating? They want me to be successful. This guy's delusional, bro. But again, maybe this is what you need to be successful. You need to build these imaginary ops, these imaginary barriers, so you can kind of get yourself, you know, you can kind of get yourself pumped and ready to go. That's what you probably need to do. Probably. I don't know.
But this is how naive I was. In my head, I was like, well, if I do a special, that makes me like them. Like, I just want to be one of you guys so bad. I was like, if I have a special, then I'm one of them. It's like, it doesn't work like that.
Patience.
You got to put the work in.
Stand up, especially. Stand up.
Excuse me?
Stand up.
You got to put the work in.
Takes its time with you.
You got to put the work in.
Yeah.
You got to put the work in.
Yeah, you just do. There's no, I've never seen an exception.
Correct. So that's why with this next 30, not only did I dot the I's and cross the T's.
But that's a thing, though. Again, because I think he's doing that whole memory hole thing. If I'm not mistaken, he thought he was going to be the exception. That's why he took the Showtime deal. There was a little bit of arrogance there in that regard. He generally thought he knew how to game the system. Now, same with that whole whiskey thing. He thought he could just, you know, make whiskey and sell it direct to consumer his website. He legitimately thought he was going to be the exception. He was going to be the guy that came in 2 years in, had an athlete mindset, was grinding really hard, working hard, doing loads of sets, going up, and he just thought he could hard work himself into being funny. And unfortunately for him, this is probably the only, it feels like, from what I've seen so far, this might be the only artistic field. What else can I think of in entertainment? It might be the only one where there comes a point where you have to either be good at what you do or not. But there's no such thing as hard working yourself to success kind of thing. It feels like, right? Is that right to say? I would say that, right? Can you just be a hardworking comedian, not be funny, and make the money he does? I'm saying, not like be able just to like pay for apartment. I don't think so. I think if you want to be funny to that level where you're kind of living in mansions and driving Ferraris and shit, or sorry, rich to that level, you also have to be somewhat funny so people want to come to your shows because it's good. You can't just be hardworking. You know what I mean, it's not enough. And I think he kind of had that in the back of his head, like, yeah, I could do this, man. I'm going to show them. But again, it didn't happen.
I had Schultz, who's the most critical comic on the planet.
Yeah.
I go, come watch my set, see if you find any holes in it. Come watch the set. I shoot next week, come watch the set, tell me if you see any holes.
So smart.
Cross the I's, dot the T's.
Yeah. Don't have me come or anything.
You weren't in town.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, it would have had to come.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen.
But it's just the way it works. There's only one way to learn, you know?
There's only one way to fucking learn. And that's I hope people hear that because it's like, you're kind of supposed to make fucking mistakes. I don't know how else.
But it's a mistake to really special that early, but it's also like, that's my journey. Like my journey is so different than everybody else. It's like, that's like to have a special on a major network after 2 years of doing stand-up. It's fucking insane.
I know.
It will never happen again. It will never happen again.
It was just, but you had to
It's
do it.
insane. But then the amount of, I was like, I can't have that happen again. I got to do work. So I put in the work.
The other thing is that the other most important thing is momentum. You just kept moving. It didn't let it stop you.
Oh, that doesn't bother me.
It doesn't matter if it sucks. Okay,
No.
my life sucks right now. People are shitty. Whatever it is, I just keep moving.
No, I'm like Tom Brady if I throw an interception. I don't remember it.
No, you just keep right. You just keep. That's rear view.
I'm Tom Brady. Yeah.
That's rear view.
No, I'm Tom Brady. Yeah. That's why I teach Tiger.
I think you and I are very similar that way. That's why
Nothing gets me down.
I never talk about my past.
Yeah, I don't know what to talk about. Look, man, I know he's talking about some of the stuff I have to put up with in terms of listening to this stuff is just, honestly, it breaks my brain, man. Hope you guys are thankful for the time that I spent putting these clips together because, honestly, rewatching this stuff, it's just like, I can't believe this is I can't believe this is still a show. I really cannot believe it. And I can't believe I was a proper fan. Like, I used to watch this stuff all the time and then they just lost me. They lost me. I just can't believe I used to find this funny. Like, what are they talking? Like, what is this shit? Like, who cares? Like, look, if you cared about the stream, please like and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. But again, I'm just curious to see what this new special sounds like, man, or looks like. I just want to know if it's funny. That's it. Because I just can't believe that someone that can be that bad on their first show can also be worse. It can't get worse than that. Then that you'd be surprised. It has to be better. It has to be. It just needs to be funny. He needs to have at least a minimum 2 proper laughy out moments, like 2 stories that are proper, it makes you laugh, makes you barely laugh for real. And then he's set. I think the rest of it can be over because I think it's a half an hour special, right? I think I read somewhere, so it's not an hour. So that's probably will fit his kind of style of comedy a little bit better. Maybe it'll be a better way for him to just bang out the jokes and kind of cut away all the fat and just make sure everything's a hitter. But, oof. God damn it, man. Again, the lack of acceptance that, hey, that first one was crap. No one said it out of the both of them. They said it was a shit experience. No, just say it out of your lips. I did bad the first time. I'm going to come back again harder. And that's one thing you never heard him say. Hey, I'm just going to come back, be funny. I'm going to come back, be funnier. No, it's just all this haters shit and all this. Just like, I don't know, man. These people are weird, man. Bizarre way to do artistry, isn't it, really? Non-acceptance of your position and where you're at and stuff. And this is a crappy clip. Let's move on from that one. That's not that funny. Let's do this one. What's this about? But yeah, this is interesting. We'll probably end it on this because I'm my eyes are bleeding from this. I can't do this anymore. I can't do no more. I think this is why I stopped talking about Brendan in general. It legitimately makes my brain fluid leak out from my ears listening to all this shit, man. It's just like, ay. But yeah, last clip. Let's power through. Come on, I guess, last clip. So this is Brendan sitting down with Bradley Martin, and I think he's trying to suck up to Dana White. which I think is a really interesting and somewhat pathetic turn from him, because if there was one redeemable thing about him or commendable thing about Brendan back in the day, was his kind of courage to come up and say so many disparaging things about the UFC hierarchy, how they run it, how they pay fighters, the lack of pay in the fighters, the unfair match fixing, all this sort of stuff. He was really always upfront and honest about that sort of stuff, to a fault, to a point where it probably, you know, ostracized him from UFC and all that sort of stuff, and getting involved and being pally with certain things and whatnot. I think, if I'm not mistaken, him and Ariel were really early on in terms of calling out Dana for his kind of, you know, funny ways. And now I don't know what's changed. Maybe it's the UFC deal, or the fact that the UFC is thriving better than ever. I don't know. Something changed, and all of a sudden Brendan's trying desperately to be fucking Dana White's mate, and I don't know why. It's so lame, because this relationship is never gonna get recovered. I mean, it's never gonna get healed ever. Like, he basically accused him of being an Eskimo brother back in the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, Dana holds a grudge. We know that about him, Dana. He doesn't forgive easily at all. I think Ariel was just saying recently he was still trying to get him banned or getting chucked out of recent show. I don't know which one it was, right? Is it true? Did Ariel say that? No, Ariel said something about Dana's interaction with him not being the best. Like, they're not on good terms even with Ariel. Ariel Hawani's a fucking journalist, and he still isn't on good terms with him. So let alone somebody as kind of outspoken and out there as Brendan. So anyway, this is Brendan trying to suck up to Dana White for whatever reason. Let's go.
So now that I'm on the outside looking in, and again, that manager was like, you know, I know you and Dana have problems. I'm like, I don't know where that narrative keeps coming from. I love that dude. I have no issues with Dana.
This is the thing I'm talking about. Being
shameless.
Like, I can personally relate to so many situations.
Yeah, but it's like, that's how the news goes. Like, you're talking about 4 years ago. He sold his company. He's worth $400 million fucking dollars.
Yeah,
I'm doing fine. Like, what animosity? Like, we're.
There we go. That's exactly why he wants to be his friend. He's worth $400 million. And I don't understand why he says this narrative. There's no narrative. It's the facts. You guys hated each other, went back and forth because you were calling him out for being a terrible boss, and he was defending his terrible boss behavior. And then you started flinging mud at each other, and then you accused him of being an Eskimo brother, which basically I'd assume, I don't know, but I would assume Dana's married. So that's also put into jeopardy his relationship, right? Because you were single at the time when you were with Dana, or you were in a relationship, sorry, that was your girlfriend. And then you accused him of also sleeping with your girlfriend. I don't know if he did it before you or after you, but you accused him of that, which might have caused a lot of issues for him back home. So there was no narrative. It was what happened. We saw what happened. You guys were going at it in public for a long time. You clearly didn't like each other, despite Dana being good friends with Joe. It didn't really help the situation. There was still a lot of animosity there, understandably so. And all of a sudden, because he's got 400 million in his back pocket from ESPN deal, whatever the UFC signed with, right? It's all of a sudden now he wants to be his best friend. It's like, come on, Brendan, man, Jesus, be a little bit more fucking, have a little bit of backbone, bro. As soon as somebody gets money, suddenly they matter. They have views, suddenly they matter. I think that's one thing even he didn't do with Ariel, because Ariel gets views and shit. I think, you know, he didn't say anything about that. He just went for the whole no, what he did say about him, he needs millions of guests to get views and shit. That's the only thing he said. But with this guy, if you don't get views and you're not known or you're not famous, you don't matter. Do you know what I mean? As soon as you get money, suddenly he respects you, which is probably why he's so like enamored with fucking Joe Rogan, isn't it? It's like, he's got 100 million from Spotify. It's like, yeah, man.
We're both good, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need anything from him. He doesn't need anything from me. I have no animosity towards him in any facet. If he called me and was like, hey, Brendan, we need you to do this.
He's never calling you.
The show next week. Yeah, you got it. Whatever he wants, man. Yeah. I have zero animosity.
Right.
I like the guy.
Yeah.
My show's built off his platform.
Yeah.
Shameless.
So it's like this, you know, like
disgusting.
You're talking about shit from 4 years ago. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, no, I love Dana White, man.
Yeah, I have no issue with it.
So I'm wondering.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, man, I can't do this anymore. I really can't, man. This whole short Brendan thing is getting on my nerves. Let's leave it on the Chris Elias fucking weird tattoo as an overlay. Guys, I can't. I've had enough. I gotta leave. This is too much. I gotta end it there. I got a couple more tabs to do, but I can't take too much Brendan content. It rots my brain. I swear to God, it does. I'm gonna have to keep these for once a month on the stream or whatnot. It's too much. But yeah, guys, this is where I'm going to end. Thanks so much for tuning in, all 57 of you guys, for the past hour and 40. It's been banging. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet and you're new here, make sure you like and subscribe. That'll be greatly appreciated. I also do a podcast called The Agostino Zinga Show, which you can check out on all streaming platforms and stuff. Actually, let me get up on the screen so you can see what it is. Where is it? There we go. I also do a podcast, so check that out, please. It's called The Agostino Zinga Show. It's available on all streaming platforms. I also have the full show available on YouTube, so check that out. Also, you can subscribe to it on Spotify, subscribe to it on Apple, subscribe to it on all the other platforms that you stream on. Like Brendan, I started my podcast in 2015, and I'm 9 years in. But yeah, check out my podcast. It'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe it on there as well. The latest show already came out. There's another one streaming tonight the one streaming tonight is going to be at 3 a.m. so in about 40 minutes. So if you want to watch that on my channel, stream it on there too. That'd be greatly appreciated. Check out my DJing stuff that I do on SoundCloud. That'd be awesome as well. All that good stuff in it. Just check out the guy, man. Check out the guy. You see the links in the description to see all the stuff that I get up to. Click on there, enjoy, get involved. But if you're watching the stream, please make sure you like it so it can get up in the algorithm. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll try and do this again once again. I'm gonna be back for a live stream actually. I'm gonna do a live stream for this next. So if you're around, what is it? Yeah, this is the one. So if you're around, I'm gonna do a live stream for this. I'm gonna do a live stream for UFC 269. So if you're around and you wanna sit and chill with me and watch a live stream of the fights and stuff, and I'm gonna get some beers and stuff, you know, have a little fun, have some good times, get the groove back, you know. I'm feeling the groove, get the fun back, good times, right? If you wanna be there, then definitely hang out. I'm gonna do a live stream around this date, the 12th, so definitely check me out then. That should be fun. But apart from that, guys, it's been fun. It's been a hell of a ride. I've had a lot of fun with you guys here. I've said fun millions of times, but hey, who gives a shit? Take care, everybody. Peace out. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Talk again very soon. Peace out. Peace